Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel once again. This week's episode is going to be about job etiquette, how to apply for jobs, how to interview, things not to do, so let's get to it. All right, so first things first, when you're applying for a job, please clean out your social media. I know you think that we're not going to check, but we are going to check. Like for my social media, I personally have my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Snapchat all public. My Facebook is the only thing that's private, and I feel like that's where like I've got my family and my close friends connected. Everything else is kind of a free-for-all, especially for my vlog. So it is extremely important that you're not posting extremely raunchy things on social media. You're not being vulgar. You're not bringing up controversial topics. Just keep your social media clean. So we do look at that and take it into consideration on whether or not you're going to be a fit. I know that one of the companies that I've worked for is extremely strict on their social media policy. So if you put on your LinkedIn or your Facebook or anything that you are associated with them and you are an employee of theirs, they track your social media, and if you post anything that they don't agree with, they will fire you. At the end of the day, you represent the company that you work for. And so I know that a lot of people don't think that it's a big deal, but it really is. Some companies genuinely don't care. They're not going to take the time to check, but a lot of them do because social media is such a big thing nowadays. And you can use your own social media to promote. Like for instance, not too long ago, I used my social media to ask if anybody needed a job. If I'm being ratchet and rowdy on social media, like it makes me look bad and no one's gonna want to come work for my company. So clean your social media. Step 2, don't be afraid to apply for something that's a little out of your reach. For instance, like I am hands down the least athletic person you will ever meet. I work out, but like I never played sports, and I somehow got a job as a apparel manager at Dick's Sporting Goods. Like that is way, like my parents made fun of me. They like, no one knew how I got the job. Like it was completely out of my domain. While I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods, I got an offer to be the assistant store manager for Harry and David, which is a food company. I always told myself I would never work food again, but it wasn't like a fast food place. They sold popcorn and pears and stuff like that. So I just told myself I'd never do it, but the opportunity presented itself. As long as you have similar work experience, they're willing to talk to you. Even as long as you have sales experience, you can be X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, definitely just as you're applying, like don't feel like you have to be stuck in whatever field you're in. I highly suggest using LinkedIn. Take advantage of it, but be professional about it. I see people's LinkedIn accounts and I'm like, there's no way that I would ever give them a job. Again, it's still social media, but it's a professional platform. It's all about networking. A lot of people endorse. That's how it was when I first came in. Now it's more of just connections. So I try to connect with anybody that I was friends with or went to school with, or even like sometimes someone will connect with me who works for the same company like across the country. So LinkedIn is phenomenal. I can't tell you how many job offers I've received. Harry and David, the store manager, found me on LinkedIn. She sent me a message. I receive messages all the time. I love my job currently, so I'm not looking elsewhere. But again, I was working for Dick's Sporting Goods when the store manager at Harry and David messaged me. I wasn't looking for a job. She just messaged me and offered me this great opportunity, and I took it, and it bettered my lifestyle. So I highly suggest downloading LinkedIn. Make sure it's professional. There's tips and tricks all over the internet. And if you'd like, comment down below and I can do how to make a professional LinkedIn. Just please use LinkedIn. I swear by it, and you will definitely find a job. Step 3, Indeed. I am not in love with Indeed, but I think it's a great platform. Essentially what it is it just gives you a job criteria and you just send them your resume and you keep going. So some will actually require you to go through this application process and some don't. They literally just want your resume. That actually happened to me a couple months ago. I did find a job through Indeed and applied with it, just sent them my resume, and she called me back almost that next day and was like, hey, like I know this isn't technically like what you're used to, but I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you. And at the end of the conversation, it just wasn't what I was looking for. But Indeed does help if you're willing to just scroll through it and find the job that you're looking for. Also, Glassdoor. It's a good website, but it really is based off of who's put their input, so people can review their jobs, they can review their interviews, but it tells you like the average amount that people are getting paid in your area, because pay differs from state to state or city to city. So I definitely suggest before you go into a job to look up the Glassdoor for the company in that location. Let's say that someone had a terrible experience there and they put it in Glassdoor, at least you're gonna be aware of it. So definitely look at Glassdoor for references on the store that you're looking to interview for, or any company you're looking to work for. All of those are phenomenal ways to start and get your foot in the door, make yourself a little more professional, but things not to do. If someone gives you a phone call because you applied, please respond. If they call you and they say, hey, I'd like to set up an interview, if you're not interested in the job anymore, call them back. Have enough decency and respect to call that company and say, hey, like, I'm sorry, like something else changed, I'm no longer interested. Like, just have enough respect to let them know. Same thing, if we set up an interview for you, if you over the phone verify like, hey, I'm gonna come in at 2 p.m. tomorrow and have an interview, and you no call, no show, it's a slap in the face. I don't think people truly understand what we have to put into place for interviews. Yeah, they're simple and they're easy, but we have to make sure that we have enough coverage on the floor. So we're wasting payroll because we had to get someone else to come in so that we could be in the back while you interview. It's also just disrespectful to have us sit around and wait for you. So if you're not gonna show up, like, please call and let us know so we don't have to go over hours, or so we don't have to plan our day around you. Just respond. Like, if you don't want the job, if you're not interested, I get random like Sleep Number LinkedIn messages. Like, I don't want to work for a mattress company, but I have enough respect to be like, hey, I'm sorry. If I know anybody, I'll send them your way. Someone is taking time out of their day to say, hey, I think you would be a great fit in my company. Would you be interested in applying or sitting down and talking? Have enough respect to respond and be like, you know what? Sorry, I'm not. Maybe at a different time. I moved cities. Yes or no, blah, blah, blah. Just respond. Respond. Your outfit means everything. Everything. And I cannot stress that. Not just because I work in retail, but like I said, I've worked at Sonic. I worked at an operations in like heavy lifting and audio thing back in college. I was a nanny and had to interview for nannies. I've worked at Charming Charlie's. I mean, there are so many companies that I've worked for, and at the end of the day, your appearance is the first thing that they see. They don't hear your personality. They don't speak to you. They're looking at you as you walk in the door. And if you look ratchet or bummy, they're not gonna hire you. And if they do, it's by the grace of God. I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods. It is a basketball shorts, leggings, track shorts, nothing but Nike apparel or fitness apparel in general. And I still showed up to my interview in black pants, a nice little basic blouse, and like had my hair and makeup done. Like, I wasn't super dolled up like I was going to the prom, but I had enough decency to look nice. I think my biggest pet peeve is when people show up to a clothing store wearing like leggings and a t-shirt. I can't tell you how many interviews that I've had that people come in and they're wearing like denim and like a graphic tee, hairs in a bun, no makeup on. And like, I'm not much to talk about makeup, but at least I put mascara on. Like, but don't come in with your hair in a bun, no makeup on, you're wearing a t-shirt and jeans and dirty old sneakers. Like, your appearance literally means everything. And it doesn't matter what job you're applying for, whether it's a garbage man or McDonald's, it doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, make sure that you look nice, please. I'm not saying go get your nails done, go, you know, like, I'm not saying you have to like spend a lot of money. Like, even if you don't have a lot of nice clothes, like, it doesn't take much to look nice. Wear a basic shirt, wear clean clothes, don't wear anything with holes in it. And at least take the time to look at the company you are applying for, especially if it is retail. If you're going for a job that only sells business suits, don't show up in denim. And that goes for you gentlemen as well. Just come looking professional. When you're actually in the interview, prepare yourself. If you have never worked for the company before, if you only know limited information, do your research, please. I worked for Ann Taylor Loft. I had a person come in. She literally went on a whole story about how she met Ann Taylor. She loved her. She was the nicest person in the room, and she had the best style in the world, and we just let her keep going and going because she had this whole story you could tell she planned out. Ann Taylor doesn't exist. It is not a real person. A man started our company, and it was like a family thing. Ann Taylor's not a person. You cannot meet Ann Taylor. You will never see Ann Taylor. So do your research before you come in, because it's going to make you look stupid and you're not probably going to get the job. But not only that, but like, it's embarrassing when you show up and they're like, oh, so why'd you want to apply? And you're like, oh, like, I need the money. Like, great, everybody needs the money, but do you love what we stand for? Do you love the product that we sell? Do you love it? You just can't afford it, so you're not a shopper. Like, there are so many other things that you can come up with. So just mentally, like the day before an interview, I always kind of go on their website and I kind of just skim through, regardless of what it is. If it's a political firm, it's a retail store, if it's a restaurant, go through and familiarize yourself with the company. A lot of websites have like an about me section. Like, I'm not saying memorize it, but at least know a little bit about it. So when like we sit down in an interview and we're like, hey, what made you want to apply here? Or what do you love about the company? Do you know anything about the company? Because honestly, it's kind of a turnoff when you ask someone like, oh, do you know anything about the company? And they're like, no, not really. Just make sure that you prepare yourself before the interviews. I typically like to Google like the top 100 frequently asked questions for retail jobs, for restaurant jobs, or whatever career you're going for. And I prepare myself, because I hate when I am sitting there and someone's like, oh, what's your biggest strength and your biggest weakness? And you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know. And so it's a little embarrassing when you have someone come in and they just don't know any of the answers to anything. They're stumbling, they're saying, when you're quick on your feet and you have an answer and you've already thought about it, it's easier and it makes you seem more personable, and we know that you prepared, which makes us feel like you truly want the job. Don't be afraid to apply for jobs that you aren't necessarily familiar with or have experience with. Make sure you clean out your social media, please. Use LinkedIn and Indeed and Glassdoor. All three are phenomenal tools. Respond in a timely manner. Don't make the person wait a week and a half to hear back from you. I once had a lady who called and she was like, yeah, I got a phone call from your manager like a month ago asking if I could get an interview, and like, I'm interested now. No. And your outfit matters. Outfit matters. But anyway, thanks everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I've got videos coming out every Monday. Thank you.